Welcome to the Dr. Phil Show. Today we will hear about the relationship between Victor Frankenstein and his creation. Victor, it's great to have you here. I want to start off by talking about your childhood. What was your relationship with your father like?
Well, my father has always been the foundation of our family. He has supported me with everything I've done.
What a fantastic father. Seems like you two have a great relationship. And I know, with respect to your father and your great relationship with him, do you try to emulate your life after him?
Yes, I really look up to my father. Even though we have very different personalities, I try to live my life in the same positive manner that he lived his.
Any other influential relationships in your life?
Yes, my best friend Henry Clairville has had an immense impact on my life. He has always encouraged me in my studies, and when times got hard, he's always been by my side.
Well, Victor, I'm glad you've had such a reliable friend. So everyone in the audience, please, let's give a warm welcome to Henry Clairville. So, Henry, it's great to have you here. How would you describe your relationship with Victor?
Well, Victor and I have been best friends since we were little. He has inspired me to dream big and taught me how to work hard to obtain the impossible.
Victor, in what way has Henry here showed his support?
Well, when I became extremely ill, Henry was there by my side until I felt myself again. He's always been very encouraging with everything that I've done, and I'm incredibly thankful to have a friendship like ours.
I'm glad we're friends too. I not only know Victor, but I'm friends with the whole Frankenstein family. They're wonderful people, and I'm extremely glad that I get to be a part of their lives.
Well, that's excellent. Seems like you two have a very special relationship. When we come back, we'll hear from Victor and his creation.
Take a hit, feeling lit, feeling right. 2 a.m. summer night, I don't care. Hand on the wheel, driving drunk, I'm doing my thing. Rolling the mid beside and out, living my life, getting our dreams. I'ma do just what I want, looking ahead, no turning back. People told me slow my roll, I'm screaming out.
Got milk?
Welcome back to the Dr. Phil Show. If you're just joining us, I'm talking to Dr. Victor Frankenstein about his creature. Victor, I'm just a bit confused on why you don't make or just be your creature's friend.
Well, he's a monster, nothing more. I regret making him. He doesn't deserve a companion. One monster in this world is more than enough.
Wow, do you have any sympathy towards your creature? Why do you despise him so much?
He doesn't deserve sympathy. He's a monster. Just look at him.
What did you imagine him to be like?
Well, I imagined my creatures to be one of the most prominent discoveries in history, but the second I laid eyes on him, I realized that he was just a monster. No scientist would be proud to claim that that's one of their discoveries.
Creature, what are your feelings towards Victor?
Well, I always wanted to have a good relationship with Victor because he's the only father figure I ever had. But he doesn't recognize me as a person, so it has forced me to despise every human being.
Well, isn't that a little harsh, don't you think? Blaming all humans for his neglect?
No, it's not all entirely his fault. I've tried to become friends with other people, but they judge me by my looks before they even get to know me.
Interesting. Well, Victor, do you have any comments?
I'm not going to feel sorry for him. He deserves this treatment. He killed people and destroyed lives.
The only reason I killed people was because I wanted to show you what it was like to be alone. You didn't even give me a companion. That's all I wanted, and you wouldn't give it to me.
Well, what does it feel like to be alone?
I feel helpless, unwanted, and depressed. All I wanted to be was loved.
Well, creature, how do you think the families of the victims feel?
Dr. Phil, I'm sure it was very hard for them to lose someone they loved, but they have others to love them in return. I have no one.
Well, do you feel selfish in any way?
No, I believe the only one being selfish is Victor. I mean, he created me and won't give me any attention. He won't even give me a compromise to be able to find happiness elsewhere.
We're here with Felix, Agatha, and DeLacy.
It's good to have you, Dr. Phil.
Thanks. I've heard some mysterious events are happening lately. Care to elaborate?
Oh yeah, just the other day, I went to go cut some wood to start a fire, and the wood had already been cut. Someone left a perfect pile there for us.
And I went to tell Felix to shovel the snow, but it had already been shoveled.
Now, if you knew that this creature here was doing those things, would you still be appreciative?
Heavens no, only good people would do that for us.
Exactly. A monster as frightening and hideous as that could not possibly be the one responsible for doing those good deeds.
Speaking of bad people, some people, they view prisoners as monsters of society. What is your view on it?
Well, if you're referring to how I helped Safey's father escape, then he's not a monster at all. He's simply someone who needed help, so I helped him.
Now, DeLacy, do you feel you should help the creature in the same way your son helped Safey's father?
Well, I believe they are similar situations, just with different circumstances. Felix aided in helping a prisoner escape, but the monster is free. Safey's father was wrongly accused of a crime, which could have been handled many different ways, and Felix chose. This creature just needed acceptance by society. He does need someone to help him, but it's not the same type of help that Safey's father needed.
Well, Agatha, can you explain your reaction after seeing the creature?
Well, the first time I saw him, I was so frightened I fainted. He is so giant, not like anything I've ever seen before.
DeLacy, now I heard that you had a conversation with the creature.
Yes, he came into the cottage the other day while they were out on a hike.
Can you tell, well, what do you think of him now after you've talked to him a little bit?
He doesn't mean any harm to anyone. Although I cannot see him, based on my children's reactions, I feel like he's misunderstood. When I spoke with him, there was something about him that seemed very honest and sincere. He doesn't want to hurt people. He's just looking for a friend.
Now, you three, just want to know the answer. What is your favorite? If you want the rest of the interview and more, go to drphil.com/DeLacy interview. And now we have a few words from William and Justine.
Thanks for having us.
So, can we start off with your relationship with Victor? William,
Well,
you go first.
Victor's my big brother. I've always seen him as an inspiration and a well-respected person. He is, I look up to my big brother.
I really like Victor. He and Elizabeth were the only people who didn't believe that I was guilty of killing William.
Now, even though Victor created this creature that ultimately killed both of you, has your perspective changed about him?
Well, I don't think Victor knew that the creature was going to be so destructive.
I think if he had known how disastrous the creature is, he wouldn't have created him.
After all, he is family.
Well, thanks for coming, guys. I enjoyed your input. After the break, we will come back and we will speak with the DeLacy's and Elizabeth and Victor off-site at their homes. Welcome back. I'm here with Elizabeth and Victor. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thanks.
So let's start off talking about your childhood.
Well, I was adopted by the loving Caroline Frankenstein, and I was really welcomed into their home. Previously, I was living in poverty, and it's incredibly difficult to live that way.
Now, Elizabeth, how did your relationship with Victor evolve?
Well, growing up with him was incredibly fun. We did everything together, and he cares about me so much. He always wanted to protect me, and it was just great. We fell in love, and I love him with all my heart.
Also, Elizabeth, was it difficult when Victor went off to school?
Yes, I was constantly worried that he was going to fall in love with some other girl, but he didn't. He was faithful to me the whole time, and I wrote to him every day, so he knew that I loved him.
Now, after your mother, Caroline, passed away, what changed in the family?
Well, I took over the motherly role, so I cooked and cleaned, and I took care of the family while the men were at work. I made dinner and tidied the house and such.
Interesting. Now let's move on to Victor. Do you get along with Elizabeth?
Yes, she's amazing. We have such a great relationship. We never fight, and everything just seems natural between us.
Wow, it really seems like you two have a solid relationship. Now, Elizabeth, do you know about Victor's creation?
What creation?
I was gonna tell you, but
This creation.
I don't think my Victor could have created something as awful as that.
Well, we have a video of his making.
Care to explain this?
I swear I was gonna tell you. It's just complicated. Things you wouldn't understand.
Well, this is very interesting. Well, I'd like to stay on this subject.
I wouldn't understand. Why wouldn't you?
Well, we
tell
can
me?
tell tensions are high here.
It was hard.
We'll
I
let them
couldn't
discuss it more.
I don't care. You
But
So
it was
everyone at Dr.
complicated.
Phil Show,
I
thanks
create
for
something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Here we are back in studio. I have with me Victor Frankenstein and his creature. So, creature, how do you think we can resolve this conflict between you and your creator?
Well, I understand that asking Victor to be a father figure for me is too much now, but all I ask of him to do is to make a female companion for me.
Interesting. That's a great thought. Well, Victor, do you agree with this?
Well, I feel like that could be a reasonable solution, but just because I created a creature once doesn't mean that I could create another one. And even if I did create another creature, it doesn't necessarily mean that they would be compatible or that the creature would have the same personality.
What is your response?
I will take that chance if it means I could possibly have a companion.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in 23 hours for our next show.
Recording.
Hey guys, you guys know I had to pee?
You can go.
I really have to pee.
Go.
Well, Victor, do you have any comments?
He doesn't know his line.
I know what my line is, but I just wanted to build something up to it, but I think I'll just go with it. Well, do you feel like you were being selfish?
No, I believe the only one being selfish is Victor. What?
Do you feel selfish in any way?
No, I believe the only one being selfish is Victor. I mean, he created...